Lovely jubbly, just tricked you there. God, look at the signal. That's got to be reviewed, especially on the Perfectdraft Pro. And it's quite a lot heavier. Especially with afternoon people, it's Paul, it's Rate My Beer and it's another blind test. So as the last two were quite successful, especially my one. Michelle's doing 3 this time and I'll show you, I won't say anything.
This one's harder.
This one's it's not harder. So there is number 1. So I'm sure you can see what I'm using as number 1. Obviously she has no clue whether it's that machine. That machine, she has the blindfold on, as you can see, with her back to us. So, this is number 1. And we know what we're going to do here, don't we? So, that's a nice bit in there. And the Hackney Church brewing glass. And if you're watching this, do get involved with that brewery. They're absolutely brilliant. And there's a 25% discount as well. This is number 2. So, there you go, as you can see. And watch the mix around, in case she got smart and clever.
I'm not that smart and clever.
So,
Just be blonde.
right, let's bring the camera nearer.
Okay, I'm actually really nervous.
She keeps saying she's nervous.
Okay, can I turn?
Yeah,
well,
you
it
can
doesn't
turn.
matter
No, no,
anyway,
you can't
because I
see
can't
nothing.
bloody see anything.
You can't see nothing from
Okay.
there. So, what we're going to do, I'll get this side of the camera. So we will go. You're going on number 1. Here's
This
your
is
number 1.
number 1. Okay.
God, I'm trying to remember what one is what myself now.
Yep, I have to take that. And he dropped it.
Oh no, be careful, I like these glasses. Right, so number 1, this is now number 2. Well, you're number 2. I get confused, you know, I can confuse myself sometimes, people.
Okay.
Go?
Yep.
Okay, and this is your 3rd one. Be a shame if you get some wrong, wouldn't it?
I'll try number 1 again.
Right, you want to try number 1
I
again?
know what number 2 is.
Well, here's your hand. You know what number 2 is? We know what number 2 is, don't we?
Okay, and number 3.
Right, hold on. So number 2 and number 3. Drink a bit more. The key to success, you see, as I know, is not just one little sip. It's kind of like you're savouring the ambience of it.
And number 1.
Right, hold on. Put these down correctly so I don't mess this up myself. Number 1.
Oh God, number 1 and number 3. And number 3 again. Look, I'll be running out at this rate, aren't I?
No, there's plenty left. Drink till the end. She's just doing this, you know, I reckon to drink more. I might as well have number 2, so there's you.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Number 1 and number 3, if I get them round the wrong way, I'm going to get them round the wrong way. I'm going Goose, Becks, Romola.
Unfortunately,
I've got them round the wrong way.
it's Romola, Becks, Goose.
Oh,
Right,
those two are so similar.
we will go into this a bit further.
Those two are...
Right, no, what we'll do, we'll explain this a bit. We
The
have
Becks.
messed around. The Becks, obviously, number 2, we'll take that out of the equation. right?
That was obvious.
Yeah.
That has got a flavour of its own. It really stood out.
It stood out. These two, obviously, before we came on camera today, we were messing around.
Because I hadn't tried them for a long, long time. And I thought it was going to be pretty easy.
No, it is easy. Right, this is the thing. Funny enough, even Dan said it's easy. And it is easy in hindsight, right? But if Dan wants to challenge it, if Dan is up for a challenge, our friend Dan from Birrell, this one, the problem is, what we were messing around with it earlier, just joking with each other. And the problem is, they bounce off each other. Now, the Romola, that is a really underrated drink, brings the flavour out of the Goose.
Yeah, it really does.
So the Goose, once you drink the Romola and you switch to the Goose tastes like a totally different drink. And you're like, because I said at first, I said, this is easy.
Yeah.
And then we went the other way back round. Obviously, this was all off camera, just messing around.
It was really light-bodied, the Goose, the first time I tasted it.
Yeah, it was really...
And I thought, I'll really be able to pick out the Romola because it's got that fruity, orangey taste.
But then when you're messing around and bringing Becks, a Pilsner,
and
your taste buds just... And I honestly, I said to you, I said, I don't fancy doing that. I'm just being honest. I mean, I was only talking to Dan about it yesterday.
Even now I know which one's which.
It's confusing
I'm tasting them and...
Yeah, they're bouncing off each other. The Becks is one on its own.
That stands out. That's obvious what that was.
But in all due honesty, I wouldn't like to call these two.
Even the carbonation on them is really, really similar.
Yeah, the Goose on its own at first. So when I first tried the Goose, obviously we was messing around in...
So that's the Romola, you said, and that's Goose. Or was it the other way around?
That's the Romola. That's the Goose. I've kept them...
Yeah, it really
If I got it wrong, someone will tell me, because someone will watch the video and say, but no, I haven't, because I went 1, 2, 3. Rather than confusing you, thinking I was taking them out of different ones, I went from top to bottom, so it's Romola to Goose. Romola, obviously, Becks was in the middle.
Yeah.
But this was not as easy as what we thought.
That was a surprise for me.
And I'm definitely not doing it now, because everyone wants me to fail more than they do Michelle. There's no way, Dan. Sorry, mate. You do it at the Birrell HQ.
Before we did this, I would have said they were two totally different beers. But trying them side by side, and like you say, the flavours are bouncing.
They're bouncing off each other.
Sometimes you drink a particular beer and you move on to a different style or another
It takes
drink.
a while for your palate to adjust.
Sometimes you're like, oh, yuck, that doesn't follow that at all. But these two really do bounce off each other.
Yeah, see, now I'm getting the fruit hint in that.
Now taste that one straight away.
And then you go to this one, we've already done it. That's what I was explaining. It's bloody harder than what you'd think. No, see, I'm not getting it there because it's in my head and I'm thinking about it. But I did earlier. I said, oh my God, it's like that's got fruit in it like that. You know that's the orange base in the Romola. Obviously, we all know that. As in with Lisa, that goes good with orange and that. But that is a hard one. And no, I'm not doing it. You've had your final one. Not having it on two of us.
I don't mind getting it wrong. It's been an interesting experiment actually, because it just shows the Becks is a good pills, because it does stand out.
Oh, Becks was easy to call.
It was
the
the
Becks
standout one straight away. As soon as I sipped it, there was no doubt in my mind. That's why I was like, 1 and 3, 1 and 3.
Yeah, no, but that was that. Right, this is my opinion here. If there's anyone still watching, right, the bad mistake Michelle did was, and the reason I left the Becks in the middle, because I was hoping that the Becks would take away what happened to us earlier. And once you pulled the Becks out of the equation, I thought, you're effed. And I knew she was going to get it. Well, it was a 50% chance, wasn't it? It's a fluke.
Yeah.
If I did that now, I'd pick the Becks out.
Even knowing which one's which, when I'm stood here and I'm tasting them again.
It's bloody hard.
They tasting them very, very similar to me, one after the other.
You know, maybe Dan will have a go. Because he said how easy it is.
Yeah, you've got to do it totally blindfolded.
You never know.
No cheating.
Well, if we cheated, we'd won, wouldn't we? But
yeah, definitely.
I'm out of it. I'm not doing this one. No can do, people, right? It's just because these two, anyone, if you've got a keg of Romola and a keg of Goose and you're fortunate enough to have two machines, you try them together and they bounce off each other.
I was going to say, if you like one, you probably like the other as well.
But the Goose on its own doesn't taste as good as the Romola on its own, in my opinion. We haven't done the reviews of these two yet, anyway.
I did find that the flavours in the Goose were brought out
by the Romola and by the Becks. That's what I said. Otherwise, the Goose wasn't, but who knows? We'll give that a crack. Right, what can I say, people? I think we've definitely done your heads in on this one, but at least we've explained the concept of it and what happened, and that was a 50-50. Unfortunately, you can't win them all. It's the blonde hair. What can I say? Bonjour.